Hi guys, welcome back to this week's edition where we're going to look at NASDAQ to see what happened this past week and where we're going from here. So if you guys recall, probably about 2 weeks ago we started off, and I'll go to the daily chart now, where we were pretty much above this fair value gap, where we created this big weekly fair value gap. And we then spike right into it, holding price above the 50% of this fair value gap. I know it's called the IFVG now because it got inverted. But at that time, we're holding price, and we thought, or I thought at least, well, there's two ways. We got to invert this fair value gap to see lower prices, or we can, rally up from here, test a different fair value gap up here, and then maybe, create new highs for NASDAQ. But we're going to go to, before we go to the daily, I just want to highlight. So that was the view, and on the daily, I'll show what was the rules. If we do this, then that. If this, then that. And it gave us, clear guidance as to where the market wants to go. And obviously on this weekly where we're looking at now, we've inverted this fair value gap. So that obviously confirm a bearish bias. And that does not mean price will just drop out here. And, because it's a weekly candle. But if you look at lower time frames and you follow fair value gaps, IFVGs, there's normally a tendency where it breaks it comes, test it, could go all the way up to the 50% to test it, or just touch it and then drop, or just go straight down. So I don't know what will happen today. All I know at this point, because of what I'm seeing here and on the daily, which we'll jump to now, I've got, good conviction to know I'm bearish. And if I'm wrong, then so be it, then I'll reevaluate. But at this point, price is telling me we're going lower. And to back up this further is, if you look at, the between April and May and August start, there was this two equal lows that formed. Now that's, another reason to say, okay, we've inverted this, so price most likely going to gravitate towards these equal lows. But this can take another, month to get there. It can take another 2 days to get there. We don't know. All I know, there's pretty much strong, pressure to the downside, and it could stall and go sideways before it goes down further. Just keep in mind, there's, I know it's still a long way, not long way, but a month, a couple of months or something. The U.S. elections, so that can, play part in this. The issues we've got in, where countries are fighting with each other and all of that. So there's a lot of things that can shoot price right down, or, turn price, if nothing goes wrong, everything is happy days, can push, price right through the roof here. But at this point, I'm fairly confident to say I'm going into this following week with a bearish mindset, and I'm going to target these lows here. But within this week, we have two other targets, which I'll show on the daily just now. And so, on a weekly, this is my first confirmation that we're going lower. This is my second confirmation saying, if we say we go bearish, well, this is the major liquidity that we might gravitate to. All right, let me jump to a daily and then see what's going on there. All right, let me just go. Okay, here we've got the daily. Let me just all right, so if you look at the daily, these three candles here, that is that wick within the fair value gap on the weekly fair value gap, which I'm not annotating here, but this down push, down gap, and rejection to the top side, that was a swing point. That was the tail, or that wick of that candle that formed within, where we thought, okay, or I at least thought, we're going up here, there's all this liquidity here, and there's relative equal highs up here, so the chance that we're going to run higher is great, unless we invert this fair value gap. And sure enough, we aggressively inverted this fair value gap, and with this whole inverted fair value gap, we took out this swing low. That is another sign of, of a bearish move, that we invert, we take a swing low out. And like I said, with the weekly one, now that we inverted, we could see price consolidate or go back. Like here, we had a consolidated two days in a row, just accumulating and holding price until we hit Friday NFP. And sure enough, we aggressively inverted the second fair value gap that I marked out. Now that I've got two fair value gaps, broken through, I'm I want to see what's happening on Monday and Tuesday. If we go to the calendar quickly, just to show you guys, I don't see, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I'm only looking for the red folder news. There's not the big news beginning or the beginning half of the week. Then Wednesday we've got CPI numbers at is this 2:30? This is probably, sorry, it's probably in South African time. So just check your calendar, go to Forex Factory, go to the calendar, and look for the upcoming week, which is 8 September to 14 September. And then just go and filter it. Just do red and orange for the news. That's what I normally do, and then I'll see what could drive price. So we could potentially see consolidation Monday, Tuesday. I don't know how big it will be on Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday nothing. So it could be a quiet week if I really look at it. I don't see anything stands out, but that does not mean that it doesn't give us opportunity to trade. So therefore, I think we might see some slow move up into this fair value gap to test it, to then go down to the following reasons. So obviously we've got these two lows, which is our equal lows that we've marked out. But then what I've done is this long wick that created the second point of this equal lows, I take that and I break it down into quadrants of 25. And the reason for this is, being an ICT trader, there is, obviously Michael teaches that you look at the consequent encouragement of the wicks where, candles drawn to as well. So this candle could go down all the way to 50% and then bounce, or go straight. That's just for me, it's a measurement of strength of a candle, and just to see what it does. But the first part, this low here, so obviously the 50% is a target for price to go to. Then this wick here, that bottom end is just above the 50%. That tells me that is a liquidity pool for price to go into. And then the second and almost the final point, and that's as far as I'm looking at this point here, the 50%, and then this equal lows. Then we'll have to see what the market presents from there. So not a lot of big news. There's big news this week, but I don't think it's going to drastically push price right through all of this. I think it might be something like this that we had before we went down these fair value gaps. Well, I could be wrong. So let's just have a look and see what it does. I'm not going to go beyond the daily time frame today, and because I just want to show you guys what I'm looking at here. And what I will do is, my strategy normally is, so in this case where this big candle broke that swing low, my idea was to go lower. So the next day I will mark out the daily open and look for price to trade above the open and see if I can get any bearish moves or signals that tells me that we want to go short. That would give me a nice opportunity to buy at a premium. Sell at a premium to at least target the lows or the 50% of this fair value gap. Then we pretty much consolidate. Same with the next day. Wait for the next day's open, draw the line, extend it through the day, and wait for price to trade above the open because I'm bearish, and then target that low. Same with this one. We can see market open. It was a little pullback, and then we get this big drop down. So that's basically all that I've got for you guys today. So obviously don't just go randomly and sell the market, or because this is not financial advice. This is just me, marking out what I see, and I'm journaling and try to read price as it forms and to see if it tells me the right story, that what I'm anticipating. If it does, I've got no other reason than to go the opposite direction. And we got to keep an eye on these things. I'm looking at this now. There's a fair value gap in here after the inverted fair value gap. It literally just touched it there and then it dropped. I don't know if this market's going to fill this gap completely or just do, I'll draw 50%, but I need Monday to play out first to see if this becomes another fair value gap. Then I'll do the same thing. I'll mark out the quadrants. And what I want to see then is I want to see price to stay below the 50%. And if I say price, it can wick through it, but the bodies must stay under the 50%. Then that tells me the momentum is still down. But if it goes and close above the 25% or fill at 100%, that does not mean we're not going to get the drop. That just means we're not going to drop straight from there. But be careful in the markets. don't rush into any trades. Sit on your hands on Monday and really look for opportunities to the downside. And unless you've got a different opinion, and that's also fine. And that doesn't mean when I'm bearish and you bullish that not both of us can make money. We can. And I want to urge everybody to, if there's any questions or suggestions or anything, just pop them in the comments, below this video. I will definitely look into it, and I will respond to each and every one of them. And hope you guys had a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and till I talk to you guys in the week, have a great day and be safe, and don't overtrade.